Yeah, welcome to Mechanicsville. We're starting out a new channel here to bring you some automotive content, both some repair stuff, some reviews, projects, some racing action, some car show stuff.
And there you have it. Tune in next time. Just kidding.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what we do. We're going to maybe showcase some up-and-coming young folk like myself, who's got some old hot rods and race cars and stuff like that, and maybe go talk to some cats that have been doing this longer, you know, like Eddie.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll tune in from maybe a couple rest homes.
Yeah.
Where we can catch up with those folks.
Definitely, definitely
Right.
like to get the historical aspect of it. A lot of people that have influenced racing, not only in North Carolina, but being a base of a lot of racing operations and venues, historical venues, and legends that live here in North Carolina, affected multitudes of racing applications throughout the United States and possibly overseas in the world, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that live locally. Ricky Smith, drag racing. He lives local. Mike Bowles.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The hero.
That's right. What, 5-time IHRA champion?
Champion, yep.
So
world record holder.
Yep. So there's a lot of guys around locally that have a lot of insight, a lot of information that might be beneficial to some of you guys out there.
That have influenced not only individuals, but racing sanctioning bodies. So a multi-generational. Ricky Smith's son, Matt Smith, is a very accomplished motorcycle rider and multi-time NHRA champion.
Yep.
So I mean, it's not only people that they have influenced, but it's multi-generational as well.
Keep it alive. Keep the sport alive.
Absolutely. That's one thing that we want to do is cultivate the automotive industry, bring information and a lot of, you know, not just dry information, but some fun facts, some fun stuff, and not only showcase some things that we do, but just the common, the DIYer, the people that work on their own stuff.
The DIYer.
Yes, sir.
Like myself.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yep. And that's one of the things that we're going to feature hopefully on future episodes, are projects like yours behind you. You want to give us a rundown on that?
The old goat. I've recently given it a nickname.
Okay.
The Blueberry.
Okay, I was thinking more like along the lines of a money pit, but
well, I mean, and then there's that. And then there's that.
You were depleting your retirement quickly. Yes.
I've had to start gigoloing a little bit on the side to supplement my retirement. So, no, I put some blueberry scent in the gas tank.
Oh, okay.
And it smells like
blueberries.
So yeah, that's the nickname there is the Blueberry. So yeah, the old '67 goat. Has been in the family since November or December of 1966. Mom and Pop bought it new from Bob Neal Pontiac. Had it ordered actually because Dad wanted one with white interior, and said if he was going to go in debt, he was going to get what he wanted. So
absolutely.
$3,500.
$3,500 later.
Heck yeah! But I guess when you make what $120 a week, or whatever, so
that seems like a lifetime.
That was big money.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had it for a while, and actually I rode home from the hospital in this car after I was born. Remember it like it was yesterday.
Because you were the young one.
Yeah, I mean I was there.
Yeah.
I was there. Sold it to my uncle around 1976 for a humongous sum of $350.
And was it running then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it didn't look like this,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it was running, drivable. So yeah, my uncle had it for ever since, and he had it restored approximately 20 years ago.
Okay.
So as you see it sitting right here, that's the restoration from 20 years ago. So he had told me forever, well, since I was 16 years old, I guess, that it was mine, and one day when he passed away that I would have it. So unfortunately, about 3 years ago, he did pass away, and I was able to buy it from the estate. Thank goodness. So here it is.
Wow.
The Blueberry.
Nice, very nice. Now, bring us up to date. What have you done to it since acquiring it from the estate?
Well, the paint, that's not the original color. The original color was a little bit darker blue, and I priced having it repainted the darker blue, but after I got that quote, I realized how awesome this blue paint is.
Yeah.
So this is the color it's going to stay.
Yeah.
I put a little bit wider tire on the back. I changed the gear ratio in the back. It was a 290 gear. I put a 355 posi in it. Put a shift kit in it, a little bit higher stall converter. My cousin and I built the engine. Shout out to Wayne Hicks over at HRE, Hicks Racing Engines in Jacksonville,
Okay.
North Carolina.
Side note, future episode, we may visit his shop.
Yep, we'll go over there
Get the lowdown with it.
the Hicks compound
Okay.
and look at all of his stuff. He's got a 73 Z28 that he just bought a 4-link coilover conversion to go under it that we're going to do next winter.
All right.
So, but anyway, yeah, we built the motor in it, put aluminum heads on it, Kaufman aluminum heads, roller, cam, roller rockers. It's a full roller motor, 10.67 to 1 compression. It's a good little street car.
Yeah.
Runs good.
Now this is purist. We haven't changed any of the drivetrain to another manufacturer. This is all Pontiac.
Yes, it is. There's no
Okay.
heathenistic LS motor.
Okay. All right.
In the old poncho.
Yes.
So
we're staying true to the brand.
absolutely,
True to the brand.
absolutely, and that's the way I like to see it.
And you know, it's funny that you say that or we bring that up, but most Pontiac owners are their true blue, just to steal
Right, and it should be. I think people that, for example, buy an old car and put an LS motor in it, or people that buy a Ford, like an old T-Bucket, and put a Chevrolet motor in it,
which was from the 70s up to like 84 was the cool hot thing to do. You could buy a kit from Speedway Motors and build your T in your driveway.
Yeah. Yep. But if you're going to buy a Ford, put a Ford motor in it.
Okay.
I think those folks that cross-contaminate, I think those people will probably burn in hell.
Okay, so you're calling me out.
And they should.
Okay.
And they should.
You're calling me out.
That's
I don't
right.
have a problem
That's
swapping drivetrains.
Jesus don't like that. That's unchristian. That's unchristian. Jesus don't like Chevrolet motors and Fords. I'm telling you right now.
Well, there's a lot of Ford owners that don't like Chevrolet motors and Fords
Yeah, I
either.
bet so. I had a friend of mine that had a Mopar drag car with a big block Chevrolet motor in it, and I'm like, that's unchristian. You can't.
Well, I will agree with you there. There are some platforms that lend themselves, I believe, to drivetrain swaps. But in certain aspects, I believe that brand should be branded. So,
but you know, that's what makes this whole hobby what it is. You know, different people have different tastes, and when you go to the drag strip, you see different people's particular taste, or when you go to cruise ins, you see, you know, different things you've never seen before, and get ideas that you had never had yourself.
You definitely see what really appeals to them, what makes their world go around is how they do their car.
And some of them are just wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, some of them are just wrong.
Yeah.
But as long as they park it at their house,
And not next to the blueberry.
right, don't park over here. Go down there to the AMC Matador.
Okay.
Park next to that in the Volkswagens. Okay,
Yeah.
now you know, I can't be responsible for, you know, the old goat jumping on top of something
Yeah.
when I'm not watching.
Yeah. When it's
So-
unleashed.
Right.
Right,
If I
right.
turn my back, you know, if I walk off to get a hot dog or something, I don't know what he's going to do, and I can't be held responsible for
Well-
parking your whatever it may
Well,
be.
The Pontiac mascot is a tin Indian, so
I'm just saying, you know how those Indians
renegade
are.
all the way.
That's right, man. They're
Okay.
unpredictable. Sneak up on you.
Do you have, outside of the work that you're going to do with Wayne, do you have anything on the horizon
For the goat?
that you're working on?
No, not right now. During the summer months, I'll just drive it. Maybe when the wintertime rolls back around and the goat fund, I may start me a GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
But,
Goat fund me.
The goat fund to me.
Yeah.
You know, maybe something. I'd like to do a transmission cooler on it, a deeper pan, just to make sure the transmission stays good and cool.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, man, there's not really a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'm really pleased to see the progress you made over it in just a short amount of time. I know I've been helping you with procuring some parts and stuff. My project, my 68 Camaro, is in a much deeper stage of restoration. It's in a frame off situation. I've got new sheet metal that needs to go on it, and I got the drivetrain ready to go together. Got a block.
It's not an LS motor, is it?
No.
Okay,
No.
good.
No, this car was ordered new in 1968 by my aunt. My father was a line mechanic at Lou Healy Chevrolet off of Stratford Road, and which is now Flo Chevrolet. He delivered the car, PDI'd it, pre-delivered it. My aunt kept it until the spring or summer of 1970, and she bought a brand new 70 Monte Carlo SS, and my grandmother
There you go.
then took possession of the 68, and she held it, kept it within the family until 1984 when I graduated high school, and she gave it to me, and I drove it around a little bit then, started to do a drivetrain update on it, and then, you know, as we all know, life kind of happens, you know, kids and house mortgage and stuff like that. So I've started collecting over the past couple of years, started collecting hard parts to put the car back together. Had the front subframe ready to go together with all new suspension parts. Need to acquire a set of big block springs because the car was originally ordered as a small block 2-speed power glide car with a big block paint scheme. Well, I'm going to clone the car as a big block 4-speed car. So it will have a 427, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a 650 horsepower engine in it with a correct M21 rock crusher in it. And so we're going to clone it as a big block car. I've already got a straight drive steering column that I've got rebuilt, ready to go back in it and replace the one with the automatic, the column shift, so it won't be like I just knocked the shift handle out of the...
Yeah, took the pin out.
Yeah, and converted it. No, it'll look like a factory original car. Have a SS hood for it with the grills in the hood, so it will be as close to being a true big block 68 Camaro as it could have been.
That'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Do your anybody else in your family got any projects going on other than
No.
Wayne?
No, like I said, Wayne's got his 4-link stuff ordered, and it came in. He's just sitting there staring at it, waiting, you know, for winter time to get here so we can jump on it. But
All right. Now this brings up an interesting thing. You know, one of the things we're going to try to do here in Mechanicsville is that we talk in a lot of slang, I think, and some of the younger guys that have been introduced to the automotive industry or the automotive hobby that have just had it out of pure interest and not had somebody that's influential in their lives that have taught, like, you know, my father taught me. I'm a lifelong student of, you know, the Hard Knock Academy of Dad, hold the flashlight deal. And we may talk in some acronyms or some slang that some of the younger viewers may not be, and, you know, not necessarily the younger viewers, but somebody new to the hobby may not know what we're talking about. So we're going to update.
Like,
you know,
Tesla owners.
Like Tesla owners,
Yeah,
yes.
they wouldn't be familiar with big block.
Have no idea what a 4-link is.
Right. Or
so if
ever
you
been on a date with a female, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that has nothing to do with a 4-link.
Exactly.
Right.
Or a rock crusher.
Yeah.
Totally different stuff.
Yeah. But if you could kind of expand real temporarily on like a 4-link.
So this, some A bodies, I guess, had what they would call a 4-link. It's not a leaf spring suspension in the rear end. It's coilover. So on the bottom of your rear end assembly, your rear axle, you have upper control arms and lower control arms.
Correct.
And then you have shocks and a spring. A lot of aftermarket 4-link suspensions are adjustable.
Yes.
Especially in a high performance vehicle like a Tesla Plaid. Not really. But you can adjust the pinion angle.
Correct.
On the rear end to, depending on how much the car weighs.
Correct. The factory setup, these are hard points.
Yes,
these are
they're
hard
not
contact
adjustable.
points. They are non-adjustable.
Correct. So they do make some replacement parts for this one that are adjustable, and I've looked at those, but I haven't made my mind up what I want to do yet with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the guys are going to the adjustable stuff. Wayne, the kit he ordered, it's adjustable. The shocks are adjustable.
Now, when speaking specifically of aftermarket parts for A bodies and G bodies, some General Motors G bodies that have the same configuration that you're talking about, which is like a 4-link, and what we're talking about is 2 parallel arms that articulate the rear end housing. I know typically aftermarket, the upper ones are generally the only ones that are replaceable that are adjustable. Now, when we are referring to a 4-link, we're talking about 4 parallel arms with heim joints, and the arm itself is internally threaded, so you have articulation at 4 arms and 4 8 points.
Right.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And
So
you
that's
guys
the
can
lowdown
Google-
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can Google heim joint,
Yeah.
H-E-I-M, I
Yes,
think.
it is.
Um,
And if we get an opportunity with Wayne, we can go through that and we can explain the parts and get the setup on that.
Yeah, we can go over there and visit HRE and
Yeah.
shoot a video over there of him putting in his stuff.
Well, currently, besides the Camaro, I'm finishing up a 1957 Bel Air for my dad. You've seen that car. This is a 57 Bel Air hardtop. Has a small block, 412 cubic inch in it. It has a Super T10 4-speed behind it, and we're updating. It's been updated. Basically, the whole drivetrain's been updated. And right now, the last project to get it running for the spring or moving into the summer now would be the fuel system. So we're updating the fuel system, and we'll have some content on that here pretty soon. We're running new hard aluminum line from the back to the front, fuel pressure regulator, plumbing, doing a little bit of old school stuff. We're keeping it, you know, like what we were talking about. It's not going to be a lot of modern stuff on it. It's going to be like if somebody just opened up a hot rod magazine in 1974 and this was the latest stuff that they were bolting on their cars. Yeah.
Cool.
So we look forward to working on some content as far as that project. And I brought up something in the conversation here earlier about younger people and just people with general interest in in the automotive hobby. Do you think were the people that drove your passion or your interest, and who was your key motivator to develop your interest in vehicles?
Wow. I don't know. Well, growing up, man, everybody had a Hot Wheels track, right? Back then, we had those SST cars. Remember those?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Put the little rip cord down in there. I mean, there was all kinds of car toys back then. The little Evel Knievel motorcycle, man.
Oh yeah, I think I still have scars on my knuckles and nightmares about my knuckles bleeding.
So, it seemed like in the 70s, growing up, there was, as far as toys, it was cars, manly shit, tractors, BB guns.
Well, not only did you have the toy market, but you had Saturday morning cartoons.
True, speed buggy.
Speed buggy.
Yeah.
You had Speed Racer.
Yep.
Some others.
And then, growing up too, Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh yeah.
Every Friday night. Smokey the Bandit. The Gumball Rally. There's just all kinds of stuff.
All great movies.
Yeah, it seemed like back then more so than now, but man, I've just always, if it had an engine on it and it was loud and fast, it just was something that
you gravitated toward.
I did,
that,
so, I never really kept up much with NASCAR. But, drag racing to me is, when you talk about automotive stuff and horsepower, man, you're not going to find the horsepower in NASCAR racing that you're going to find on a drag strip.
One cylinder in a top fuel funny car or dragster produces more horsepower than a NASCAR Winston Cup car or a whoever they're sponsored by now.
I don't know.
Yeah, but one cylinder in a V8 engine in one of those vehicles produces more horsepower than a NASCAR.
A Keith Black.
Yeah.
Hemi.
Yes.
But it's not going to do that for 2 hours.
Oh no, it won't. Definitely will not do that.
No, it'll do it for 4 seconds, and then we're going to rebuild it.
Yes. So, was there one particular person that sort of fed your hobby or helped generate that interest?
You mean like a celebrity or just a local friend?
A friend, family member, somebody like that.
Well, the GTO, hearing stories about that growing up, high school friends, Dad, he still watches NASCAR races every Sunday religiously. But man, I would have to say probably my next door neighbor at the time, Eric Croy, who lives in Roanoke, Virginia now. We used to mow yards together. He had a mowing business, and he had a bread route. And before I got my license, I would help him, do that. And man, we'd talk about cars, and that really fueled my interest. And then I met a guy, I guess I was 15, 16 years old, Keith Gerald. Lived nearby. Went to school with another friend, Brian Johnson, and he lived next door to Keith. But anyway, Keith had a 69 Mustang. It was darker blue than this. It's like a midnight metallic blue with a black top, Keystones, cherry bombs, 351. I mean, I was like, dang, that's awesome. So after that, he sold it, and shortly after that, I guess I was 16 at the time. He bought a 71 Super Sport Chevelle with a 402 in it, and dude, that thing was a beast.
Yeah.
So of course, when I got my license, or even before that, me and Keith, he was a couple of years older than me, we'd go to Stratford Road, and see all the cars up there, and we'd race stoplight to stoplight.
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that. So, you know, man, that was just that was exciting to me. You know,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of adrenaline, a lot of bravado. You know, 18, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids with their loud cars and whatnot. But man, it was just testosterone, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, you know, and it still is.
I would have to say that the biggest driving force behind my interest would definitely be my father. He had always had nice, fast cars when I was growing up. Had a 57 Bel Air. I can remember taking trips down Renolda Road, you know, and just pulling the gears going through down Renolda Road in the Bel Air, and a succession of like a 60, 62, 64 Impala, Chevelle, 70 Chevelle, Monte Carlo, big block Monte Carlo. So it was always some form of muscle car. And he was a self-taught mechanic and worked in the automotive field, and wanting to, you know, learn from him and gain knowledge from him certainly fed my interest in it. And then being around some of the people that he raced with, being at the shops growing up, and seeing some of these cars, sitting in some of these cars, being around the different forms of racing that other friends of his were associated with, were a very big driving force for me as far as cultivating my interest in the automotive hobby. And then, you know, going to high school in the 80s, you had to have a cool car. You just, that's how you made it. You made it when you drove a cool car to high school.
Right.
And I had a 72 Z28 that he and I built in our basement, basically, and drove it through high school, cruised Stratford Road, up and down Stratford Road, and I can't imagine the amount of time and the miles that I know I covered, and I know you covered, that back when he was growing up. I can recall stories that he would tell of them cruising the Triangle, which was from Stratford Road to Renolda Road, back down Renolda Road and back up to Stratford, 5 Points at Stratford Road, and hanging out at Staley's, which was there at 5 Points, which is a restaurant with car hops. And I can't imagine, you know, as cruising that strip of road, just Stratford, of what it would have been like to make that loop there.
Well, back then, Friday and Saturday night, it was bumper to bumper.
Oh yes.
And
Yes.
you know, if you wasn't careful, your car would overheat.
Oh yeah.
Sitting in traffic. But man, that was the most fun you could have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe, I'd like to find the article, but I believe in 84 or 88, CarCraft actually did a list of the most cruised spots in the United States, and Stratford Road was in that top 10 list.
I don't doubt it.
It was actually documented by CarCraft magazine, which was very popular in the 70s and 80s for their summer cruise in, their nationals, which they would have in the Midwest. But they actually did a top 10, and Stratford Road, little Winston-Salem, landed on the map with one of the most cruised pieces of asphalt in the United States.
Well, if I had $1 for every time I went to the Exxon and turned around, and went to the Putt-Putt and turned around,
and then come back to Mayberry's,
we could order some new car parts.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We could order
Absolutely.
you know, some new parts. But yeah, man.
And I think that's what I think that's ultimately what we're about here too, as well as trying to influence all viewers, people that just have an interest in the automotive industry and the culture and the hobby, and just try to influence them and give them information that's usable for them. So that brings me to my next topic. What's your favorite vehicle?
It's got to be a Tesla Plaid.
A Tesla Plaid.
No, I'm kidding. Favorite muscle car
Any vehicle. Any vehicle.
that I've owned, or just in general?
Just in general.
Well, probably sitting behind me.
Yeah.
Pontiac GTO, you know, 64. Well, GTO has been credited with kicking off the muscle car wars back in the 60s and 70s.
Definitely.
With their 64, I guess, Tempest with the GTO option, which later, I think, in 65 or 6 became its own vehicle, the GTO. So probably the GTO, but a close second, which I'll never own for obvious reasons, would be a Superbird.
Tesla.
Yeah. Well, you have to see when you go buy a Tesla, you have to go through a physical exam.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, and males, if you don't have a certain level of estrogen
Okay.
as a male, they won't sell you a
Okay.
Tesla. You know, if your testosterone level is too high, they'll just
They don't bump you up to the Plaid?
No,
Oh,
they
okay.
just refer you back to a gasoline engine.
Okay. All right.
You know,
A diesel.
yeah, possibly a
diesel.
diesel. Yeah, possibly a diesel. So yeah, Superbird. But there again, I don't have $500,000 to
True.
spend on a
True.
Superbird. But you know, some of those old Mopars, you know, are awesome. 69
Yes.
Charger.
Well, you know, it's funny that you brought that up. The big three, and when I say big three, I'm talking about GM, Ford, and Chrysler. They didn't know they were in a muscle car war. They were just battling for a demographic in 1964. They were just
They wanted the young folks.
the teenage male was coming of age. You know, we were, you know, kind of flirting with disaster as far as the war, but they wanted to bring some excitement to that demographic, and they didn't know they were in a war till they were full blown.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, I listened to some of the things that my dad talked about being a mechanic back then, and it's incredible the cars that were being built back then, the stuff that the manufacturers did to scoot these cars, and I mean literally scoot them under the insurance regulations, because the insurance industry was blowing up as well, because you had more families that had multiple incomes in the 60s, beginning in that era. There were more kids being born, so you know, it was kind of crazy the way the manufacturers would detune or show less horsepower on some of these engines to get them to pass insurance regulations. Mm-hmm. And talking about that, I've always liked the F-body platform, which is the Camaros, the Firebirds, and stuff like that. The first generation, 67, 68, and 69 have always been my favorite. Then moving into my the vehicle that I owned, which was a 72 Z28, I do truly miss that car. I do like the second gens as well. There was several years in there, just like with the Mustangs and the Dodges, when we had a gas crisis where they sort of emasculated the muscle car. It got basically a Charlie horse, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah.
There was some hate going on there
We had to
for a couple of years.
Yeah, knock that compression down a little
Yeah.
bit, to 8.5 if you're lucky.
They put 4 cylinders in Mustangs, so that's the old Mustang 2.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'd rather have a Pacer.
Yeah. But all right, we've covered our best. What's the worst? What's the worst car you think is this made?
Today?
Yeah. Or anything.
Oh God.
Ralph Nader did some hating on the Corvairs. He's the reason.
Corvette, and there's a cult following for Corvairs, but for me,
that was a hidden gem. A Corvair.
I'm listening.
Because you had you had technology that was kind of, for the time, was outpaced by the V8s and all the stuff they were doing with the muscle cars. But you take a flat 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, especially the Spider, which was a 6-cylinder and had a turbocharger on it. That was kind of unique for its time.
But here's the thing. It's kind of like when you're attracted to a girl.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that attracts you to that female is not her intellect. Is that accurate?
Okay, I hear.
It's the visual,
yeah.
And a Corvair just didn't have it.
No, it did lack some of the styling points. Harley Earl definitely did not touch that drawing.
When we go to these cruise-ins and I see a Corvair,
yeah.
It's an American.
It's kind of like riding a moped.
It is.
Okay,
They're fun to ride,
but you don't want
your friends to see.
That's right.
So I don't know, the Corvair probably back in that era, but the Mustang 2 was absolutely hideous.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were smoking with that. In the early to mid '80s, that Dodge Charger.
Oh, the Omni Charger?
Yes, that was...
That's Lee Iacocca.
I don't know what old Lee was smoking, but good grief, that thing was hideous.
And I know we've been kind of skirting the issue and hating on the Teslas a little bit. That's because of Ash. Yeah,
he's a Tesla lover.
Yeah.
Lover of the Tesla. Yeah. So, but they walk among us.
Mm-hmm. They do.
They do, and they look
in the daylight
fairly normal.
Yeah.
Fairly normal. But then when they start talking about automotive stuff, immediately.
Oh yeah.
What
is his favorite quote? It's a computer on wheels.
Yeah, computer on wheels. Okay. No grill.
I think I'll agree with you on the Corvair thing. I mean, some of the technology for it was didn't overcome the looks of the vehicle. Definitely that Mustang 2. Your Omni cars are just hideous. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one.
Let's hear it.
The C8 Corvette. I absolutely hate that car. I absolutely hate it. It's Motor Trend blows it up as the new supercar platform and all this kind of stuff.
Remind me what year this is.
This is your new Corvette model, the mid-engine 2-seater. The mid-engine 2-seater.
Yeah, I'm not digging on those either.
I don't feel like a Corvette is true to its roots to be a mid-engine car.
No.
It was a supercar on its own right. As a rear-wheel drive, traditional drivetrain. You had the Grand Sports, which was the BMF, the Ferrari killer. Anything you want to call it, modern day, it could hang with the supercars. Now you start talking about a Veyron or something like that. something that just completely blew it out of the water? No. But, you know, you didn't have to cut an arm and a leg off to own it, you know. Nothing about that vehicle appeals to me.
For me, the Corvette lost its appeal around 1972.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
know, and then when they went to that, what was it, 84, 3, 4, when they changed the
Okay,
body style completely.
that was C4, yeah.
I was
fourth
done
version.
with Corvette at that point.
Yeah.
I was done. So yeah, 69, 8, you know, and even the split windows, you know, back then.
63.
Yeah, that had sex appeal.
Oh yeah. And I mean, they were, I guess, supercar not being a moniker then, but they were what the man's man aspired to.
Mm-hmm.
was a Corvette, a Stingray.
Right.
Stingray.
So now
and then Route 66 kind of blew it up. I don't think intentionally, but the TV show Route 66.
Yeah,
I
I won't be able to own a Corvette because I don't like New Balance tennis shoes.
Whoa. Time out. Back up here. Whoa. This thing sitting behind us has a carburetor on it. Am I correct?
It does.
You cannot tune a carburetor without a pair of jorts and a clean pair of New Balance tennis shoes, my friend.
Right.
You better not come near that thing with a screwdriver unless you've got those.
Yeah. Hey, these are Hey Dudes.
No,
man.
Hey Dudes.
Hey Dudes. Yeah,
no.
These are my one of my Hey Dudes right here. So yeah. And the little white socks.
Yeah, the little ankle socks.
Yeah, you got to have those with your New Balance.
Yeah.
These are Merrells. These are toe socks.
Oh, the Tesla owner speaks.
See, there you go.
Talk about my goddamn footwear. It's on.
Like a pot of neck bones.
So, you have anything you want to talk about?
So what? I think we had talked earlier about the right to repair stuff.
Yeah.
Something you want to get into on this episode? Or you want to wait
right
on
now,
the next?
yeah, I think we need to
Separate.
save that for another episode because that's a lot of stuff to digest.
Yeah.
Because the government right now is, and I don't want to go off on a big tangent right now, but they're trying to limit the access that us as hobbyists, DIYers, and aftermarket repair, meaning your local repair shop, the guys that you trust to take your vehicle to repair it and continue to maintain it and run it, are limiting access once again to canned information that's located within our computers on wheels. And the only thing I want to leave you with right now is that you need to contact your congressman, visit the righttorepaiراct.org, contact your congressman, tell them that we need to have, as hobbyists, DIYers, as repair folks in the industry, need to have access to that information. There's a lot of other little hidden caveats to it that I want to discuss in a separate episode, but just the important thing is let your voice be heard, because as we all know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I feel that it's important to further on our industry. I think it's important to further on the hobby and just allow us to continue to enjoy what we enjoy as far as the automotive hobby.
So the next episode we'll get more in depth in that.
Yeah.
But one thing I did forget, one thing I wanted to touch on,
Okay.
and since we were talking about what made me think of it, was when we mentioned ash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the word tool popped into my mind. So, you know, Tesla owners, I don't know why, but tool.
Yeah.
So what, in your library of hand tools in your shop,
Okay.
what's your go-to? What's your favorite besides a hammer?
Well, you know, you fix all things with a hammer.
You can fix, yeah,
It doesn't matter.
that's true. Duct tape,
If it's not fixed, you're not using a big enough
right.
hammer.
That's exactly right.
I am one that currently is reluctant to accept the electric movement.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't bought a lot of a battery powered drivers, drill driver things. I'm still old school. I grab a 3/8 ratchet, a 1/2 inch ratchet, and get busy.
Right.
I know that there's a lot of tool, and this may be something we can cover. Manufacturers that are making battery operated drill drivers, ratchets of all various shapes and sizes. What about yourself? Have you adopted this new technology?
I have, as far as woodworking
Okay.
goes, I have a plethora of Milwaukee rechargeable tools, because there again, you have to have a very high level of testosterone before they'll even sell you a Milwaukee
Okay, yeah.
tool.
So you have to present a man card.
Right,
before
you do,
Okay.
you do.
All right.
If it's a little, you can have a little less testosterone, which is no, really no fault of your own. You could buy DeWalt,
Okay.
and then it just goes down from there.
Down from there.
Right. So I do use cordless stuff for woodworking because I don't like stretching extension cords. 8 miles
yeah.
of extension cord to go saw a 2x4.5. But as far as automotive stuff, I don't have any rechargeable power equipment, and probably won't,
Yeah.
because if I did it for a living, I may have something rechargeable to take bolts out and stuff like that. But my go-to is probably a ratchet.
Yeah.
The ratchet. My cousin Wayne over there at the HRE compound, he's a wrench guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a wrench guy. So I'm sitting, when we put this motor together, he's like, here's a 7/16 wrench to tighten that bolt up with, and it'll have this much thread on it. And I'm like, dude, do you have it down? Is there a ratchet? Do we need to go to the store?
Yeah. Do we have a speed handle?
I mean, holy hell,
Yeah.
So yeah, ratchet for me.
Yeah.
Ratchet for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say definitely. I would grab a ratchet before I grab any other.
Yeah.
So
for Ash, it would probably be like a USB, like a thumb drive or something. His favorite automotive tool.
yeah, the computer on wheels.
There you go. There you have it. There you have it.
I know we're throwing a lot of hate his way, but that's the way we're tuning modern vehicles,
I know.
and that's going to be another discussion.
I know.
That's going to be another.
I mean,
discussion.
if you watch, if you watch a lot of drag racers, man, they'll run those computers and get data, and so they know what their dial in on the next run needs to be, and they're out here checking barometric pressure and temperature and how many mosquitoes are per cubic foot of air that your carburetor or whatever's sucking down.
That are occupying the air that should be going into the vehicle.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, if it wasn't for computers and people like Ash, thank God, that know about them.
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now. I mean, we give him a lot of hate, but we're not.
Right.
We could not do what we're doing right now without this guy.
I mean, I can work a microwave oven and a TV remote. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah. I'm still with the Jiffy Pop.
That was some good popcorn.
Yeah. So next episode we'll try to cover some ground on the Right to Repair Act. Be thinking about the worst tool you've ever bought, and we'll talk about that. And we might get our technical advisor, the doctor of tech back there,
Right.
in front of the camera.
Right.
Put his put his spin on some things.
Yeah.
And
Let him make fun of us.
yes, absolutely.
Bunch of two knuckle draggers.
Yeah. Yeah, without him, we'd be beating out here in the driveway, beating rocks together, I guess. But no, that's kind of what we're about, what we're going to do, what we're going to continue to bring to you as far as content. We'll reach out to you at some of these events. We'll bring some racing action to you. We'll definitely bring some car show action to you. And remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and give us some feedback. Let us know what you want to see. Peace out.